Dan, what if I told you that Brazil's biggest problem isn't their coach? It's not their defense. It's not their tactics. And it's not even their failure to win a World Cup since 2002. What if Brazil's biggest problem is something much deeper, something millions of fans refuse to see? Because when people think about Brazil, they think about greatness, they think about Pelé, they think about Ronaldo, they think about Ronaldinho, they think about 5 World Cups and beautiful football. But what if that image is hiding a painful truth, a truth that explains why Brazil keeps failing when it matters most? Today we're uncovering why Brazil's biggest problem is worse than you think. And trust me, the final reason might completely change how you see Brazilian football. For decades, Brazil was football's ultimate superpower. They didn't just win, they entertained, they inspired, they dominated. The yellow jersey became a symbol of football perfection. Every generation seemed to produce another superstar. Every tournament seemed to begin with the same expectation. Brazil would win, but something changed. Since lifting the World Cup in 2002, Brazil has repeatedly fallen short. Different coaches, different players, different tactics, same result: failure. The question is why? Reason number one, Brazil is trapped by its own history. Most countries dream about having Brazil's football history, but history can become a burden. Every generation is compared to legends, every player is measured against icons, every team is expected to recreate the magic of the past. The problem is that football has changed dramatically. Modern football is faster, smarter, and more tactical than ever before. What worked in 1970 doesn't automatically work today, yet Brazil often seems caught between honoring its history and adapting to the future. And when you're constantly looking backward, it's harder to move forward. Reason number two, the world has caught up. For decades, Brazil possessed an advantage nobody could match: talent. Pure football talent. But today's football world looks very different. France produces elite players every year. England's academies are among the best in the world. Spain continues developing technical stars. Portugal keeps creating world-class talent. Argentina remains incredibly competitive. Germany's rebuilding. The gap that once separated Brazil from everyone else has nearly disappeared. Brazil still produces amazing players, but so does everyone else, and that's a reality many fans struggle to accept. Reason number three, too much focus on individuals. Brazil has never struggled to find superstars. The problem is building complete teams. Every generation produces exciting attackers, fast wingers, creative playmakers, incredible dribblers. But football isn't won by highlights. It's won by balance. Some recent Brazilian teams looked fantastic on paper. Yet when pressure arrived, cracks appeared. Why? Because talent alone isn't enough. World Cups are won through organization, discipline, and chemistry. The greatest teams function as one unit. Sometimes Brazil looks more like a collection of stars than a complete team. Reason number four, the shadow of 7-1 still exists. And there are losses, and then there are scars. The 7-1 defeat became one of the most shocking moments in football history. It wasn't just a bad result, it was a national trauma. Years have passed, but the memory remains. Every World Cup disappointment reopens old wounds. Every setback reminds fans of past failures. Psychology matters in football. Confidence matters. Belief matters. And sometimes it feels like Brazilian football is still trying to escape that night. Reason number five, impossible expectations. Imagine being a Brazilian player. Imagine entering a World Cup knowing that only one outcome is considered acceptable. Win quarterfinal, failure, semifinal, failure, final defeat, failure. That's the reality Brazilian players face. The pressure is enormous. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every missed chance becomes a national discussion. Every defeat feels like a disaster. Expectations can inspire greatness, but they can also create fear, and fear is dangerous. Reason number six, Brazil lacks a clear long-term identity. The best international teams usually have a clear vision. You know exactly what they want to be. Brazil's identity has often felt uncertain. Sometimes they try possession football, sometimes direct football, sometimes defensive football, sometimes attacking football. Constant changes create instability. Great teams evolve over time, but they don't constantly reinvent themselves without a clear long-term direction. Consistency becomes difficult. Reason number 7, FIFA 2026 may be their hardest challenge yet. The next World Cup won't be easier. It might be harder. Competition is stronger than ever. So reason number 7, FIFA 2026 may expose Brazil's biggest weakness. Every World Cup reveals the truth. Not the truth fans want to hear, the truth teams try to hide. And FIFA 2026 could expose Brazil's biggest weakness more brutally than ever before. Because modern football doesn't care about history. It doesn't care about 5 World Cups. It doesn't care about legendary players. It only cares about what happens on the pitch today. And today, Brazil faces more competition than ever. Argentina enters as defending champions. France possesses unbelievable depth. England continues producing world-class talent. Spain's young generation keeps improving. Portugal may have the most balanced squad in football. Germany is desperate to return to the top. The margin between winning and losing has never been smaller. One mistake can end a dream. One bad performance can destroy 4 years of preparation. And unlike previous generations, Brazil no longer enters tournaments with a clear advantage over everyone else. The rest of the world has caught up, maybe even surpassed them in certain areas. That's what makes FIFA 2026 so dangerous. Because for the first time in decades, Brazil may be relying more on reputation than reality, the brutal truth. Now we arrive at the uncomfortable conclusion. Brazil's biggest problem isn't talent. It isn't coaching, it isn't tactics, it's identity. Brazil is trapped between the football they used to be and the football they need to become. They want to play beautiful football. But modern football demands efficiency. They want freedom, but modern football requires structure. They want to honor their traditions, but football keeps evolving. And unless Brazil finds the right balance, the same story may continue repeating itself. Hope, expectations, excitement, and ultimately disappointment, because talent alone is no longer enough to win World Cups. Not anymore. Could Brazil still win FIFA 2026? Absolutely. Anyone who completely writes off Brazil is making a mistake. This is still one of the most talented football nations on earth. One great generation, one brilliant coach, one perfect tournament. That's all it takes. The potential is still there. The passion is still there. The quality is still there. But potential doesn't guarantee trophies. Football history is filled with talented teams that never achieved what they should have, and Brazil knows that better than anyone. The final warning: for more than 20 years, football fans have said the same thing. Brazil will win the next World Cup. Then the tournament begins, expectations rise, hope grows, and somehow something goes wrong again and again and again. Maybe FIFA 2026 will finally be different. Maybe Brazil will remind the world why they are the most successful nation in football history. Or maybe their biggest problem is even worse than most people realize. And if that's true, another painful chapter may be waiting just around the corner. Because in modern football, history doesn't win trophies. Names don't win trophies. Reputation doesn't win trophies. Teams do. And until Brazil solves its identity crisis, the biggest question in world football will remain